Spoon, your action figure aficionado here, bringing you a quick review, or overview as I like to call them, of the Thundercats Berserkers subcategory toy line from LJN back in the 80s. I, just to start this out, have it all on display with loose and mint on card complete collections for all the diehards out there, minus prototypes, okay? Alright, so we have the Berserkers, which was a popular set of villains from Thundercats, and they were immortalized in plastic by LJN. And they consisted of the four primary ones, which you saw would be the leader, Hammerhand, Top Spinner, Ram Bam, and Cruncher. Now, the loose ones are actually part of my original toys that I collected as a child. I'll get to those a little bit later. But now let's start with the mint on card ones. I'm a fan of the museum style AFA grading, so that way you can visibly see the grade right from the package. You know, these things take up a lot of space being graded due to the size of the toy themselves being a bubble that extrudes both the front and the back. But what's unique about the Berserkers, we'll take a look at the leader, Hammerhand, here. Like I said, what's unique about them is the fact that they have this deluxe size card, and they have original artwork for each figure, which Thundercats did not sport a lot of original artwork. You can see a catalog inserted with each figure. Hammerhand's got Panthro in his clutches there. Alright. And the back, well, it showcases collect them all. And then it's got the whole proof of purchase bit there. And one thing that I like is it does have actually artwork demonstrating how to use the functions therein. Moving on to Ram Bam. Now, Ram Bam was my favorite, actually, in the original toy line. I just really liked him. Now, yeah, they don't look exactly like they did in the cartoons due to the mechanics needed to make him much bulkier as an action figure. So, what we have here is a picture of him just speeding along. And then just showing you how to operate his mechanism on the back there, just like Hammerhand had. Now, I remember years and years ago, I managed to acquire this Ram Bam from, I don't remember the name, but from Toy Fair magazines, one of the toy editors for their price guide sections that they had in their personal collection. I managed to acquire that Ram Bam from him. So odds are, if they ever did use a picture of a mint on card Ram Bam in any of their magazines, it's probably that exact same one that's in my collection right now. Kind of a neat little thing there. Alright, rounding out the collection of the mint on card ones, we have Top Spinner right there, and Cruncher. Now, I find it unique that they decided to have two of the Berserkers facing off against two of the Thundercats in epic battle, and Cruncher's fighting against Lion-O there, instead of being the two leaders duking it out, whereas Lion-O could be fighting Hammerhand, and Cruncher could be fighting Lion-O's muscle, which of course was Panthro, which we saw in the Hammerhand artwork on the card. Now, I haven't had these tested, sent out to AFA yet. You can definitely tell in the video here that my Top Spinner bubble is a little yellowed. Was not like that when I bought it. And mint on card, it's been in my possession for probably about 12 years now. I have a hard time keeping bubbles from yellowing in the conditions I live in Wisconsin. But let's flip them both around. Get an idea of them there. You can see the instructions. Now, I don't know if it'll pick it up in the video, but both of these are a little dusty, need a little bit of cleanup, which I do before sending them off to AFA eventually. I think the top spinner is in decent shape, minus the yellow bubble, but they don't really take away for bubble yellowing. Being able to get a little bit closer in here. The top paragraph here is a rather generic description for the Berserkers, which I'll just kind of get a close-up there. And then followed by that, there's an individual description for each depicted character. Right there, Cruncher is the Berserker's strongman, and his arms of steel can deliver a bear hug from which no man can escape. Now, the Thundercats toy line was not without its set of action features, but these definitely upped it, took it to the next level with the action features. Alright, now I have just the whole set up here loose, and these are, like I said, all my original ones as a child. I think I remember getting Cruncher for my 5th birthday. I don't really remember how I got Hammerhand or Top Spinner, but I do remember walking out of a department store holding that Ram Bam that my father had bought for me at the time. I remember him taking me actually to a lot of stores and letting me pick out my Thundercat toys. I remember going to a Toys R Us in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and there was a whole end cap of these new figures there at the time called Rampagers. And my dad, I remember telling me I could pick out one, and there was a whole slew. It could make people cringe remembering this now, but I've never forgotten it. There were at least a dozen stingers and a dozen drillers there. I opted for the driller, and it's been one of my favorite pieces outside of these Berserkers ever since, but let's move back on to the Berserkers here. Now, Hammerhand had 2 hoses, which if you noticed in the mint and card one, I still have the hoses somewhere, but they broke off here, come out right there, unplug. But I always used to like playing around with his mechanism here. It's been a while, so let's see here. Yep, there we go. Got his hand to pop open. So you could grab onto another Thundercat with that massive hand and then pinch it shut, hold them, and you could swing them around in battle. The wicked Hammerhand. Cruncher here. Cruncher here got a rattle. I don't remember what I did there. But with him, I have to get him to bear hug the Thundercat and then press the button on the side. It'll flip him back in that position there. Top Spinner has fared better in condition for me over the years. Came with this little mace there. And in the back there, he's got a switch. That was always an issue I had. There we go. Get him to spin around. Ram Bam. Get him to go like that. Best to get his legs up. Hard to do it on this cloth, but it still works. Look at that rubber go. I used to love actually just stopping that with my fingers as a kid. I remember that. Just touching it there brought it back. So for any Thundercat fans out there, or people thinking about getting into this toy line, it is a very fun subset to collect. Released by LJN in 1986. it boasts some of the most unique designs and features the entire line saw. And it would have continued on with, I mentioned some prototypes earlier, Cannon Blaster and Quipjaws, who were not depicted ever in the cartoon. I don't know for sure if they were ever in like the UK magazines or comics or anything like that. I have American comics to which I don't think I've ever seen them listed, but the UK ones were more expansive. So there's a chance maybe they were from there. I've seen pictures of those prototypes before and stuff like that. And over the course of the years, it'd be awesome if they ever were released somehow, but fortunately not, so we just have to settle with what we have. So, well, that's just my quick little overview of the Thundercats subcategory Berserkers toy line from LJN. I'm Spoon, your action figure aficionado, keeping it mint.